Okay, so there were a lot of things I worked on for the project this semester. Let's start with the map. I implemented this border system through this like thick fog at the borders of the map. It also is combined with an invisible wall so the player can't cross these. When you go into them, it like makes it so you can't like really see the edge of the map or anything. So I think it works nice for the wall. I also implemented this forest system through the foliage system with the editor. I also put a lot of fog in for the actual like level itself, so the light would be softer and stuff. I drew this trail onto this like landscape through the landscape system. I sculpted out the land and then I made materials for the actual trail. I made materials for this ice too. I also made this health pickup system and I modeled this heart and the whole like blueprint for it. I also made like the actual emitters for this, the guiding posts and stuff, which you could see right here. I made this emitter so I could turn it to a blueprint, which turned out pretty nicely. I also took these from Quixel Bridge and I put them out so they would like match the aesthetic more. I also like made the enemy systems with the pawn sensing that they have so they can actually follow and like sense the player. They have their own attack animations where they like move to the player and then they do their little animation for the attack and then they do damage. And they also have a damage system where they do like a numerical amount of like damage and then they also die if they take too much damage. I have similar systems with the actual player itself, but I also have dash parameters with the player with the shift key where they could go invincible and then they have that little dash. So that's kind of the evasion mechanism for the game. I have a system so the camera FOV changes as they dash. I have the tag system for the player, and I also have the target lock system right here. This is also the material I made for the dash system, and this is the emitter for it. uh, and we also have the ship over here. I'm gonna use this ship as like the alien ship that's gonna abduct the player and take them to the next like level of the game. And I'm gonna implement that very soon. I just gotta set it up so whenever they touch this light, they get teleported to the next like area. And I'm gonna make a cutscene for that. I also made these clouds up here where they rotate around, and then there's also the skybox over here. And yeah, that's about it.